If you weren't in the market right now, red alert for you, start planning, because your next month, we could have the bottom for everything in this cycle and you could miss out those orders. If you want to be a millionaire in crypto this cycle, the next month is absolutely pivotal for your success in this space. In a minute, we're going to dive into the charts. I'm going to show you some key things that you need to know. But these are some action steps that we need to be focusing on right now. From what I'm seeing, we're likely going to have at least a month of downward sideways movement on the charts. And we're likely going to see that because of Chinese New Year, because of the ETF hype kind of cooling off and letting us reset the market. But after that, it's very likely we get to a point where the market starts to ramp up into the halving. Over the next quarter, there's a lot of action steps that you can take so that you can get closer to becoming the next crypto millionaire. And it's as simple as, where can you get more risk capital? What is risk capital? It's money that you don't need right this second. So if you have a second job that you add, or a side hustle where it makes you a few K a month extra, you now have money to invest in new projects. You now have time to go and read about things. I used to work 2 full-time jobs till I went full-time crypto. There's no reason why you can't take the extra 4 or 6 hours that normally you would spend watching Netflix, not making any money, and wasting a lot of your time. Now you could put that time to good use and make some extra capital so that you have more capital to throw into these different places in the market. Some other things you can do. Now, following Twitter is great. There's lots of people on Twitter, but finding the right people to follow who is consistently right. So when it comes to Twitter mentors, obviously you can follow me. I always give free alpha, but there's other people you can follow too. So someone like you may have noticed with Satoshi VM, Yago is literally a super amazing dev. You should follow him on Twitter. He is someone on the technical side, the stuff that I don't know, this man knows and can call the BS out if it's not a legit project. You can follow College Essay. He's a friend of mine. He works with Paid. He's always brought in a lot of great deals. So another great person to follow, a good friend of mine, Mario Nawal. You should follow him because he's got a huge amount of people that follow him. He gets top tier guests. Even me, when I'm trying to interview some of these guys, it's really hard to get them on. He has access, he's got a lot of viewers, and he brings on a lot of good alpha on the show. He's one other person that you should watch for, especially from the news side of crypto. And for GameFi, if you guys don't know him, you definitely should be following Alex Becker. He obviously runs Neo Tokyo with Elio. Elio is also another great YouTuber that you could follow and learn from. So these are the type of people you should be looking at, and there's a lot of other friends of mine that I could be recommending, but there's only so much time. So those are the good ones to start with for right now if you're someone new in the space. Some of you guys probably are like, oh crap, man, I look at my computer, things are down, it's kind of stressing you out, it's making you very emotional, and those decisions that you'll make when you're emotional are usually the worst ones that you could. You're way too impulsive. What I do is I shut the laptop down. I mean, I used to do this a lot more than now. I'm much better than when I first started, but it's okay that you're gonna make mistakes. You never have a true failure. Either you win or you learn. So use this as a learning experience. Just try not to make the same mistakes over again, because the way the world works is if you don't learn from something, you keep doing it over again. That's why a lot of people get liquidated over and over again. They don't learn risk management. If you're feeling down right now and you need a little bit of motivation, so I'm gonna kick you in the ass. There's David Goggins' books. He has audio books. You listen to them, they'll help you and get you in the right mindset. If you want to learn more about life's possibilities and in business, I recommend the Almanac of Naval Ravikant. Okay, so Bitcoin, I did post this a couple days ago on Twitter, said, hey, look at this trade setup that's coming. We came down much lower, and the next morning, boom, we slashed in that $40,500 level, and that short shall be open right now. Now, it's not a huge percentage of gain right now. Likely this is acting as a level of resistance, which is why I have an alarm on, because I would probably add to my short, because I didn't open a huge short here. I'm kind of weary because we didn't have the TK cross. But as you guys can see on the predicted Mochu, in the next 3 to 4 days, it's likely that we could have that happen. So then we'll be in a full bear situation. This is fully in a perfect spot that I would want to be short. Right now, I took a small position because we didn't have the TK cross, so it could be a fake out. I'm seeing across the board in crypto something that you should be watching for. I'm going to show you that in a little bit. Also, guys, if you're someone who watches this channel, make sure that you subscribe, because you're going to miss out on all the stuff I'm trying to prepare you for before it happens, not tell you as it's happening and FOMO you in. So Bitcoin Bitcoin is likely for the next month, and I've drawn a little vertical lines here, kind of like a box, where I'm expecting the market to start getting bullish again. February 17th shall be the last day or the second last day of Chinese New Year, and I expect within that time frame until like the 26th, 28th of February, we will start to see the price come up and start to rise. It would coincide with us bottoming out around the 6th of February at the bottom of the cloud, and us using the cloud as support to come all the way back up and break into the highs and start retesting, you know, that break above and test 40,500 and then start going towards that $44,000 level before breaking out and potentially going much higher into the halving. Now, if you don't know when the halving is, there's a date there's a big vertical line right here. In this zone, when we start to break out from March to April, you'll see that we'll likely start to climb up into the halving. And if we go back to last cycle, which I also marked in my calendar here, you can see the last cycle had, other than, we had our COVID dump, right? And then we started going sideways, and then we started going up, and then we came down a little bit, but we were up, right? And then we broke out in the October level, right? If you go to this cycle right here, if we did something very similar, we would likely see us go and start to break out right around, May or June. So everyone thinks of sell in May and go away. This is why you can plan so far ahead using the daily chart. I'll just blow it up for you because there's obviously a lot of levels of support and resistance that I'm put on this chart. Some people would say there's too many. I like to see where the chart goes down to and comes back and retests on the lower time frames. So I'm drawing that in there on purpose for myself. Going quickly into ETH, because I talked about it last video, we're starting to see similar signs. The Chiku spans below the candles. We're seeing the red Kijin go up and may have a cross with the Tenkin, which also a bearish sign. And we're seeing us teetering in the top of the cloud. So once we break in the cloud, we usually go to the bottom. Just one thing to recognize here, if you're someone who's longing and shorting, your risk reward at this current moment would not be very good. So I would not be looking to short ETH personally, and I would actually more be looking at buying around $2,000 and $1,750. So that's my plan. I'm just gonna put those limit orders on my chart. I'm just gonna wait. If it doesn't hit, doesn't hit. I feel like we're still gonna come down for another month. So we gotta keep in mind that. Last video I talked about BNB. BNB was looking fine until it started to break down almost a few hours after I started talking in that video. I started seeing it. I was like, okay, let's see where it goes to. I gave you 3 levels. One was around 280. We're almost there. The second one was 265, and the third one was 249. So those are levels that I still have buy orders on limit orders open, and I expect it to likely do similar things to what we just saw in Bitcoin. Next up, Solana, another one that's in a bearish scenario. We're seeing that TK cross coming. So you see this, we're below the candlesticks over here, right? And we're also seeing that we might be breaking into the cloud. Right now it's using it as support, which is why we haven't broken directly into it. Where would I be looking to trade here? Well, if it does go there, we have like almost a 30-day window. I expect us to go from the top of the cloud to the bottom of the cloud, which is about a 4-hour trade. So basically, if I risk $100 in this trade, I'm trying to make 400 on the other end, which is really good risk reward ratio. You could literally make one good trade out of 5 and still almost make profit in a month. So that's really, really good odds. So I take those types of odds always. We're waiting for that TK cross. So I could see us running up a bit, which is why the buy order is a little bit higher, around $90. So that's where you'd be looking at, and where I'm looking at, to enter a short on Solana, especially if we get the TK cross in the next 3 to 4 to 5 days. One that everyone's been extremely bullish about. I'm just gonna go straight into it. And what are you seeing? Guess what? You're seeing similar signs. Now it's not as bearish because we're still seeing a little bit of distance between the Tenkin and our Kijin Sin, but the Kijin's been flat. It's tested it once, it's tested it twice. I think we'll test it a few more times, but we have a bearish Chiku span and we have a cloud here. Don't have any support. Like once it breaks below, and this is one thing to really keep note of, if it breaks below $29, the next buy order I would probably be making at very minimum would be between $19 and $14. So that's a long way down. I would also be looking to short that and see if we can come back down to those levels, because there's never been really in those levels other than around $18, $19 in the past, in the last cycle on its run up. So Injective is another one which everyone's very bullish about. I'm bullish on it as a whole, but also did a massive run for $1 to $40. So you should be thinking about where would you buy these coins other than saying, okay, it's just going to go back up. Look at where you can get in. If you weren't in the market right now, red alert for you, start planning, because your next month we could have the bottom for everything in this cycle and you could miss out those orders. So get the plan in right now. Go do something about it. Most people that watch this show will listen to it and go, yeah, that's right, and do nothing. Watch the video, look for what you can do, understand it in your own words, in your own mind, telling you what to do. But what I'm telling you to do is look at the chart and tell yourself, what is my plan? Where am I going to buy? When am I going to buy and I hit the order? When am I going to sell? What levels will I be looking at? That's how you become a millionaire. You don't go, okay, I'm going to YOLO in and it goes all the way up 40x and you're like, cool, it's going to go to 100x, and then you dump it. You're not going to actually dump. You're not even going to sell anything all the way up, and then it's going to start dropping off. And instead of taking profit at 30x and 40x and 50x, or even at 10x, 20x, 30x, 40x, etc., you're going to be taking profit at 10x all the way down near the bottom, or even worse, you're going to think it's going to come back until the point where you lose money. So as you guys can see, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, if you actually go through and run through all the coins on the daily with Ali Ichimoku indicator, which you guys can go get really easily just by clicking on indicators up here and then just typing in Ali Ichimoku, you'll see it right here, Ali Ichimoku Cloud. There's 744 people that use it. It uses the double settings for crypto, which is why I use the Ali Ichimoku when I'm doing anything with crypto. She made a great indicator. It's something that you can definitely benefit from if you're not really sure how to trade. You'll have my same stuff on your chart, so you can start seeing it yourself, and hopefully you can learn from this. I do plan at some point in the next few months to work with my producer to actually take the videos that I've done in the past and maybe shorten them a bit and actually give you guys a free course. So that's coming up in the future. So if you're watching now and you don't really understand it, that's totally okay. Try to get the building blocks, because what I'm doing is I'm showing you repetitive patterns, right? Like you see, oh, this is underneath the cloud or over the cloud. This is underneath the cloud or over the cloud. This is underneath the candlesticks or above the candlesticks. You know, this level is above that one, so it's bullish, or this level is below this level and it's bearish. So it's really rule-based. You can all learn how to do this, and it will help you see things in the market that people think I'm an actual wizard and genius about, when I'm just literally using this indicator and my time and length in the market to help people. Right, so the only one that we're looking at right now that is actually in a great spot, you see how the green level is hooked up like a boner in the morning? That's good when our Tenkin is a fast EMA is really bullish, right? And our Kijun Sin was a nice Kijun bounce. Had you traded that, when Kijun bounces works like this: get above the red level, you come back down and test that level. That's the buy area usually on a Kijun bounce. And generally how you would play this if you're trading is you'd go down here, you go, okay, I'm gonna put the buy order here, I'm gonna go below a little bit around here, like to set my stop loss a little bit below the Kijun Sin where I'm looking for the bounce. And then I would be looking at first, this is a 4x trade. It's great opportunity is if it bounces this level and it goes to here, you're gonna make 4x. But actually this trade went all the way up to here. That was a 5-hour trade. Now, if you were just looking and going for a short-term trade, that's still a 4-hour trade. It's really good fucking opportunity right there. And you're giving yourself a really nice stop loss to go a little bit lower so you don't get wicked out of that trade. All we're looking for is we're above the candlesticks, that's bullish. We're above the cloud, it's bullish. It pulls down to the Kijun, and our Tenkin is also bullish. So on that entry, we would just set a buy order right here, and I would literally wait for it to come there, and at a buck, it would enter and fill, and then at $1.23, I'm getting out of that trade, and I'm in a nice profit. That's how you trade the Kijun bounce. I'm gonna try and teach you guys all of these things, and if you make a checklist, you'll be like, okay, now I know when to enter. Now I know how to do a stop loss. Now I know how to not get wicked out and be too greedy. That's the stuff I teach you. If you guys are still here and watching this video, tell me in the comments what you found helpful. What things help you and what things can I help you more with? I want to know your comments below. Also, guys, make sure you're following the channel so that you can keep getting these updates, education, and alpha, so I can help you help yourself.